The CSS Custom Highlight API provides a mechanism for styling arbitrary text ranges on a document by using JavaScript to create the ranges and CSS to style them. Styling text ranges on a web page can be very useful. For example, text editing web apps highlight spelling or grammar errors, and code editors highlight syntax errors. The CSS Custom Highlight API extends this concept of other highlight studio elements, such as selection, spelling error, grammar error, and target text by providing a way to create and style arbitrary range objects rather than limited to broader defined ranges. Using the CSS Custom Highlight API, you can programmatically create text ranges and highlight them without affecting the DOM structure in the page. There are 4 steps to style text ranges on the web page using the CSS Custom Highlight API. 1. Creating range objects. 2. Creating highlight objects for these ranges. 3. Registering the highlights using the highlight registry. 4. Styling the highlights using the highlight studio element. The first step is to define the text ranges that you want to style by creating range objects in JavaScript. For example, the second step is to initiate highlight objects for your text ranges. Multiple ranges can be associated to one highlight. If you want to highlight multiple pieces of text the same way, you need to create a single highlight and initialize it with the corresponding ranges. But you can also create as many highlights as you need. For example, if you are building a collaborative text editor where each user gets a different text color, then you can create one highlight per user, seen in the code snippet below. Each highlight can be styled differently. Once highlights have been created, register them by using highlight registry available as CSS highlights. The registry is a map-like object used to register highlights by name as seen below. In the above code snippet, the user1 highlight and user2 highlight strings are custom identifiers that can be used in CSS to apply styles to the registered highlights. You can register as many highlights as you need in the registry, as well as remove highlights and clear the entire registry. The final step is to style the registered highlights. This is done by using the highlight pseudo element. For example, to style the user1 highlight registered in the previous step. The Beacon API is used to send an asynchronous and non-blocking request to a web server. The request does not expect a response, unlike requests made using XML HTTP request or the Fetch API. The browser grants to initiate beacon requests before the page is unloaded and to run them to completion. The main use case for the beacon API is to send analytics such as the client-side events and the session data to the server. Historically, websites have used XML HTTP request for this, but browsers do not guarantee to send this asynchronous request in some circumstances. For example, if the page is about to be unloaded. To combat this, websites have resorted to various techniques, such as making the request synchronous, that have a bad effect on responsiveness because beacon requests are both asynchronous and granted to be sent. They combine good performance characteristics and reliability. The more details about the motivation for and usage of this API, see the documentation for the navigator set beacon method. This API is not available in web workers, not exposed via Worker Navigator.